So I'll call the meeting to order. If we could call the roll, please.
Legislators Burtis,
Here.
May,
Here.
Rowley, Ryan,
Here.
McBride,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
Irvin.
Present.
6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Yeah, all right, that's fine. So is there a motion to waive the reading of the minutes?
Moved.
Second.
Be May's first. Leader Irvin, is second. All those in favor just say aye.
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 Thank you, Vern. It passes. B, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to
Moved.
waive?
Second.
Sorry, who was that, Vern?
Brian and Linda.
Thank you. Leader May, Leader Irvin, all those in favor just say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so C, presentation of resolutions and local law. We have 5 here, lest there be any confusion. Number 1 is Tobacco Asset Securitization Corporation. Who's here to speak for that?
Chairman, I'll take that one.
Thank you.
With the number 1, with the departure of Casey Jordan, who served on this committee for a long, long time, a very, very important committee to be on. And Legislator Rowley has offered to step up and replace Casey on that committee. And then Peter Seitz, who has also been on it for some time, his appointment is up for renewal. So many of us remember Peter Seitz, a long time member of the finance department, did a great job for the county for a long, long time. And, has continued to serve on this committee, obviously as a volunteer. So both very, very high quality individuals.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any questions? Any comments? Number 1. Can I have a motion?
Moved.
Leader Mays first. Is there a second?
I'll second. Irvin second.
I'll say John McBride second. Could we call the roll, please?
Legislators Burtis,
Yes.
May,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Irvin. 6 ayes, none opposed.
Thank you. Motion passes. Number 2, information technology, amending the 2020 county budget to make funding available for use in connection with a grant from the U.S. Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Statistics, and authorizing the execution of agreements. I believe Kevin Sexton is here. Are you here, sir?
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Hey, thank you. Great. Go ahead.
Yes, the resolution is to amend County IT's budget by $336,000 in additional funds. You may recall we had won a grant at the end of 2019 from the Department of Justice, the Bureau of Justice Statistics, for, at that time, $731,862. And that grant allowed us to convert our law enforcement record management systems to be compliant with NIBR's data collection and reporting. NIBR stands for the National Incident-Based Reporting System, and it allows much more detail to be collected and reported in terms of the types of crimes committed and elements of the crimes themselves. This is much different than the current system, which is UCR reporting. It stands for Uniform Crime Reporting. Last summer, we had the opportunity to apply for additional, actually called supplemental funding, as part of the original grant, in order to allow us to bring in more resources for assistance, mainly with development, testing, documentation, and training. We were subsequently awarded the additional funding request of $336,000 last fall. We were unable to formally accept the funds in their grant system due to some glitches, which has now been resolved. So that's really why I'm here today. We have all that in place. And today I ask you to amend County IT's budget by the award amount, which is $336,000.
Great, thank you. Are there questions for Kevin? We're receiving money, which is nice.
Correct. That's correct.
Any questions, any comments? Great, can I have a motion?
Move.
Leader Irvin, is there a second?
I'll second.
John McBride, second. Could we call the roll, please?
Legislators Burtis,
Yes.
May,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Irvin.
Yes.
6 ayes, none opposed.
Great, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Number 3, finance. We have A and B. Who's here to speak on that? Mr. Morgan?
This is Don Weber. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right. So our A is corrections of errors to county tax bills. They're greater than $2,500. They require your approval. The first 2 in Manlius are for a property that should have been wholly exempt. They got a school tax bill in error, so we're taking the unpaid school taxes off the town and county bill for this Colonial Village, and then just kind of moving the sewer tax between one of the parcels to the other. So that's why there's 2 parcels on there. The remaining properties in Clay, all of them are part of a town sewer district where the parcels were taxed, but the sewer's not in place. So that the town's correcting those bills to remove those charges.
Thank you. That is A. Any questions on A? Anything at all?
I'll move it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Leader May, there's a first. Is there a second?
Second.
Leader Irvin is second. Could we call the roll, please?
Legislators Burtis,
Yes.
May,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Irvin.
Yes.
6 ayes, none opposed.
Thank you. On to number B then.
I think we were going to have somebody else present B, Steve, unless you want me to try to talk
All right.
about it.
Whatever you'd like to do.
Yeah, I can take B. I know Law's on the call as well, can jump in if needed. So the state approached the executive some months ago regarding a parcel on at the intersection of 290 and Green Lakes Road in the town of Manlius. They are looking to redevelop that intersection in that area right there for a pedestrian and bike trail gateway. So I believe you can see the image that has been rendered that shows a parking lot and then a trailhead that leads up to the Green Lake State Park and its various trails. The property we're talking about is on the furthest, I believe, east end of the parking lot. It's delinquent at this point, hasn't paid taxes since 2011. It's about $1,800 in delinquent taxes owed. The rest of the 4 properties that you can see here, there's 4 properties. Based on what the state has informed us, 2 of them are under contract now with the option of the state purchasing them. The other 2 are under negotiation at this time. The state's hope is that they close on all of these properties in 2022 with work beginning to transform it into this trailhead. So the executive was supportive, and what you see in front of you is a resolution to allow us to transfer that property to the state of New York for $1.
Great. Thank you. Any other comments regarding 3B? Are there questions? I have a question. What's the
Sure.
specific dollar amount, tax dollar amount? We're going to
Excuse
be
me,
like,
Tim?
what's the dollar amount as far as
So
the taxes?
Taxes and penalties are about $1,800 on this property outstanding.
Okay.
Again, it goes all the way back to 2011. Our that property has no structures on it, Tim, just vacant land right now. So.
Yep. Thank you. Other questions?
If I could, I'd like to ask how much tax revenue we'll be using total if we all 4 properties are off the tax rules, please.
All right, go ahead.
I don't
Yeah.
have that. in
Yeah,
front of me. I don't know. But I could certainly, calculate that for you.
Yeah, if you could just maybe get back to all of us and Mr. Kinney. It'd be great.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Yeah, and obviously and I know Bill knows this, but we don't control what those other property owners do with the state. So all we control is the one piece of property we're talking about. So.
Yeah, I understand that, Steve. Thank you very
Yep.
much. I'm just curious of the
Sure.
loss of tax revenue.
Yep, no
Thank you,
problem.
Chairman. Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
Is there a motion? Three B,
I'll move it.
Leader Irvin is first. Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
I heard Leader May. Could we call the roll, please?
Legislators Burtis,
Yes.
May,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Irvin.
Yes,
6 ayes, none opposed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So number 4, County Legislature standard workday. As you can see here, it's for Melanie Velarde. Who's going to speak to that? All right, Ken. It's pretty standard workday. As you see, Melanie's on the call. Good morning, Melanie. This is what we need to do. I don't know if anybody else needs to speak to it, but are there any comments? Besides, she's doing a great job.
I'll move it, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Leader May is first. Is there a second?
I'll second. Chairman Burtis.
Oh, great. Mr. Ryan, second. Can we call the roll, please?
Legislators Burtis,
Yes.
May, Ryan,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Irvin,
yes,
May.
Yes.
6 ayes, none opposed.
All right, thank you. And then number 5, Water Environment Protection, WEP. Frank Mento is here. Has already given a great presentation, but we would like to have some more. So go ahead, Frank, and thank you.
So thank you, Chairman Burtis, and good morning, everyone. I thought what I would do is just give first a very, very brief history of where we've come with the ACJ, and then some of the most salient or important points behind the consent order that this resolution speaks to. So I think, as most of you know, the ACJ was originally entered into in 1988, and it was really the result of a federal lawsuit filed by Atlantic States Legal Foundation and a DEC complement to that. And the allegations in the lawsuit were violations of essentially the Clean Water Act. So the ACJ has been in place now 20 plus years. We've spent a significant amount of funds in both gray and green infrastructure projects to bring the lake and some of its tributaries back to a standard. But there's a bit more work to be done, which is the subject of this consent order. So it's important to note, I think, that the county has met all the construction milestone and capture requirements as stipulated in the ACJ. And that is really the reason that DEC and ASLF now feel like they can join us in a partnership to take it to this next step. So this consent order is really intended to be a bridge from the ACJ and where it is right now to a final outcome of just monitoring the plants through their speedies permit. The bridge in there is a 5-year consent order bridge, and it requires us to do some additional project work on the tributaries, because during wet weather events, we still get combined sewage and overflows into those tributaries. So we need to do some more projects, and we've agreed to that, and DEC and ASLF have agreed to that. And actually, ASLF is doing projects to support that as well. Most of these projects will be what we call partnership projects. That is where another entity is doing some work, like the I-81 project. We'll take advantage of that work and be able to claim additional benefit to the tributaries. So some of the critical points of the consent order: it's a 5-year state order. It's just between us and DEC. It allows us to exit the federal oversight piece of the ACJ. The consent order contemplates, as I said, opportunistic projects, as well as a revision of the water quality standards in the tributaries through what's called the use attainability analysis. This is kind of a technical analysis, but the end game of the use attainability analysis is a revision of those water quality standards in the tributaries so that we are then compliant. And that's very important, because once we're compliant in the tributaries, we're at the end of the game. The consent order provides the county with the opportunity, may provide the opportunity to define the end game here and not just continue unlimited in terms of investment in time in the ACJ. And I think, in summary, just to mention this is a good place for us to be, because after 20 plus years of commitment to projects and other public outreach requirements and ACJ green and gray requirements, we're at a spot where we have a defined end game or a defined 5-year window. This consent order, you should know, is a subject of many, many months of negotiation with DEC and ASLF. It limits the duration of the future to 5 years, and it provides a smaller subset of projects by which we're obligated to complete. So in summary, I think it's a good thing. I think it's the next logical progression as to where we want to be. It makes us solely responsible for those things that we can control, that is the county and our CSOs. We're not trying to control upstream areas which contribute to these tributaries, like the private farms, the mud boils, et cetera, that are upstream. These are things that we can control, and we are able to negotiate that with DEC. So our sphere of influence here will be from the CSOs, tributaries, and into the lake. And the hope is that after the end of the 5 years, we'll be able to claim that we are under compliance with the Clean Water Act on the tributaries, and hopefully end this game and be in a position where our speedies permits govern how we work going forward. I guess that's my summary at this point. anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Frank.
Unless, Ben, unless you want to add anything, but I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
Questions? Ben, did you write this whole thing that I was trying to read the other night?
The consent order or the or the resolution?
No, the consent order.
It was a group. It was a mutual draft, but yeah, I had my hand in that.
All right, great. Questions, comments here? Anyone?
Frank, it's Chris. How are you today? Good morning.
Good, Chris, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. So this is, I'll just say that this is, for all of us that have been on the ledge for a while, this is kind of a big deal, which is great. So we're going to be getting out from underneath the ACG. So for lack of a better way of saying it, correct? So obviously in a mutual agreement going forward through the court. So we're basically going to be settling what was brought forth against us from the Atlantic States Legal Foundation, correct?
Correct.
Yes. So Legislator Ryan, the way it works is, just so everybody knows, is we do have to petition the court. That's the next piece, but we've already settled with it. We've already settled with ASLF, and they've agreed to petition the court, and that they won't object and will support our petition. And via this consent order, the DEC has agreed to that too. So I can't say it's pro forma, the court has to approve it, but all parties agree. So, and this consent order doesn't kick in until the ACJ terminates through federal court action. And that's the next step.
And what's the anticipated time frame on that?
As soon as this is executed, this consent order, and the DEC executes it, we draft a joint letter to the court with all parties signing. So that'll be immediately after this is signed.
And then it goes back to the judge, and then it gets on the judge's calendar, and then he makes a recommend, then he can basically say yay or nay.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Which we won't call pro forma, but we're very optimistic. Okay,
yes,
great.
Exactly.
Awesome. And so the next question is, so beyond that, Frank, you had mentioned beyond the CSOs, not upstream, but also going forward for what we put in for the CSOs on the tributaries, whether it's the Onondaga Creek or Harbor Brook, right? And then we will have to monitor that for the next 5 years. And if that is, it is up to DEC standards, then we can basically be out from underneath all of this. Is that a fair statement, Frank?
Yeah, that's a fair statement. Essentially, the use attainability analysis will allow us to then have a revisit of the water quality standard that is being violated right now in the 3 tributaries. And that is a bacteria water quality standard, which is only natural given the combined system. And during extreme wet weather events, there is issues with CSOs, albeit less frequent than when we started this process, but still issues. And that's what we're trying to clean up by virtue of projects and a revision of the standard through the UAA analysis.
Okay, thank you. Again, I think it's great. I mean, not just that we're out of the legal court system, but on a bigger issue or in a more important note that clean water is getting into the lake, and so that's a good thing. So, all right, I'm all set. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Ben.
Of course.
Yeah, this is a big deal. This is quite an accomplishment, quite a day. Really great work by everybody involved here. I really am impressed by it all. I'm very happy that we have today. Other questions, other comments here? Anyone?
Chairman, just that
Yes.
this is certainly a welcome position to be in at this point, having been here long enough to see this go on and on and on with us being under the gun. I'm glad to see that we're going to be finally out of it, and the fact that things are better now, that the water is clean, is certainly the intent of all of this, but all the legal struggles back and forth. I'm glad to see we're here. And so thank you all for what you've done.
Thank you. And we'd like to thank you guys as well. I mean, it was the legislature's commitment to this path forward. You know, it was really 30 years if you go back 20 years under an ACJ, 30 years under litigation. And, you know, it was really your guys' support for this path forward, green, gray, innovation, and a lot of money, but, you know, sometimes without a great end in sight, but we found it, and I think we're there. And this is a testament to the investments and what can be accomplished when we all work together. So thank you guys as well.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So by your words, I'm assuming you're saying this is a very good thing to be doing.
That's Legislator Kinney, that's exactly correct.
Okay, thank you. I say that because as one that's been involved in this since 1992, I remember the hubbub that several legislators complained about doing this. And it's good to know that everything's paid off and that we are much better positioned now than we were in 1992 or 1988. So I think it's a excellent project and the taxpayers have benefited in the long run from all this money spent. So thank you.
Other questions, other comments? If not, is there a motion?
I'll move it.
Second,
We have a first, we have a second. Can we call the roll, please?
Legislators Burtis,
Yes.
May,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Irvin.
yes.
6 ayes, none opposed.
Very good. Well, thank you. Congratulations, Frank. Everybody over there at WEP.
Thank you, Chairman. Appreciate that. It's a big team effort, I must admit.
Yes, I'm sure. Great job, really. So if there's nothing else, I have nothing else on the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move it to adjourn.
We have first, Mr. McBride. Is there a second?
Second.
Vern, second. All those in favor, just say aye.
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 Aye. Then we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.